So I got strangled a little bit earlier. So if I'm clearing my throat, that's the reason why I got me a drink over here to kind of help out. Also, I'm laying my edges down, honey. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I thought of this story when I woke up this morning. That's the reason why I'm in my robe as well. I woke up this morning and I had to tell it to y'all before I forgot about it. So today is a story time about it's another story about when I used to live in New Orleans. And this one was when I became a tour guide and a 5'4" security guard / bodyguard for my homeboys. So I'm just sitting here thinking about it because it's so crazy. Okay, so we're going to give them two names. We're going to call the first guy Greg. Greg is like 6'8". I mean, a huge dude. And the other guy's name, we're going to call him Brandon. So Brandon is maybe pushing like 5'9", 5'10", maybe. Well, they called me up and they're like, hey, we're riding Harleys cross country. We've never been to New Orleans. They're like, we're going to stop there for like a we're going to stop there for like a rest break. So I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, y'all going to enjoy New Orleans, blah, blah, blah. They said, well, what are you doing on this day or this evening or whatever? And I said, well, I'm supposed to work. They're like, well, if you can get off from work and give us a tour of the city and make sure that we go to the right place or enjoy our stay there, then we'll reimburse you for what you would make at work. I said, okay, cool. So I spoke to my boss and stuff, and he let me have that day off. And so they show up. They must have got into the city around, it had to been around lunchtime, around noon or so. And I met them at the hotel they had chose the stay at. And so I was down at a bar. They was like, well, we're just finishing up getting ready. If you want to go ahead and come up, then that's fine. So I went upstairs and stuff. We got everything together. We come back downstairs and first of all, we went to go get some food. Because I was like, it's lunchtime. Y'all hungry? They're like, yes. So I took them to Chubby's. And Chubby's is no longer there. Because I think they actually left right when I moved out of New Orleans. I'm not for sure. But they were like these really cool guys. It was a father and son business. It was located right on Bourbon Street, and they were from the East Coast. I don't know if they were from Philadelphia or they were from New York, but they made like authentic Philly cheesesteak. So, and the name matched it too, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I used to go there and eat all the time. I started getting a little plump, honey. I was getting chubby. So the name Chubby's really went with that food. So anyway, so I brought them there. We got something to eat and stuff. And one thing, let me tell you, first of all, let me just say something about New Orleans. New Orleans to me is like my second home because I spent so many years there, and there's nothing like the atmosphere of New Orleans. New Orleans is rich with history, culture, and the food is absolutely amazing. The city is just like, it's like a city you would never, I don't think there's any other city in the world that's like New Orleans. And with me saying that, it's also a very dangerous city, a very dangerous city. And just like any other city, it has its high points and it has its low points. And two, the thing about people in New Orleans, New Orleanians, or is that what you call them? New Orleanians? Something like that. They are drinkers. Like, they are professional drinkers. Like, they could drink you under the table and you wouldn't even tell, you couldn't even tell they were drunk. So I'd already told my friends, I was like, listen, don't come down to NO throwing back shots and think you're going to be all right. Because you ain't about that life. You ain't about that drinking life like people are in New Orleans. So, okay, since I said that, we're going to go on with the rest of the story. So, I take them to Chubby's, we get something to eat and stuff like that. And then, of course, I went to one of my favorite places, Famous Doors. And by then, it had got a little bit, it's a little bit later. So, it was probably like around dusk or so. And that's when they started having the bands and stuff play at Famous Doors. Goodness, I'm about to die when I strangled myself earlier. But, hold on, let me get a drink. So that's about time they start with the bands on stage. So I take them in the Famous Doors. We start hitting Patron shots. First of all, I don't really drink tequila like that because tequila is not my friend. Tequila gets me in trouble. And I wasn't even going to drink tequila either until Brandon, I almost said his real name. Brandon was like, come on, Shavonne, do a shot of Patron with us. Do a shot of Patron. You know, that peer pressure. So the waitress brings around some shots and whatnot. So we do a couple of shots. And then I was like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the ladies' room. Goodness. sorry, guys. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the ladies' room. So I went to the ladies' room. By the time I don't know what they were doing. I don't know if they were decided to slam back some double shots, or all those shots we had already been doing finally hit them. I don't know, because I came out of the bathroom. And Brandon is about to fall off the stool. I'm like, it's not even, the sun isn't even down yet. And it's like a Friday or Saturday. Might have been a Saturday, I'm not for sure. And I'm like, the sun isn't even, it's not even going down yet. It's like, and you're already wasted drunk. So I almost said his name. I told Greg, I was like, hey, the big 6'8" dude, I was like, I'm going to take Brandon down the road to get some food to help kind of sober him up a little bit, and we'll be back. Stay here. I said, we're going to come back for you. He's like, okay, yeah, cool. And I'm thinking to myself, this dude is 6'8". He can hold his alcohol. Surely he like, that's a lot of body for all that liquor to have to, like, you know? So I was like, oh, he'd be cool. So I was like, we'll be right back. I'm going to take him down the road, get him something to eat real quick, and we're going to come right back. He's like, okay. So I take Brandon down the road. We get something to eat. I was like, are you cool now? He's like, yeah, yeah. I was like, well, let's get back before Greg thinks we ditched him. Now the sun was starting to go down. By the time we walk back in Famous Doors, Brandon walks in first, and he's looking for Greg. As soon as I walk in, I look to the right where the ATM was, because you can't miss this big 6'8" guy. So I turn, I look, and I notice that there's this cocktail waitress. Before I really get into this, let me tell you this part too about New Orleans. One thing I noticed, like working in the quarter and like kind of roaming the quarter or whatever, I like to say roam the quarter like alley cats, but is that when there's a day shift that works at the bars, and then there's a night shift. And since New Orleans is made up of, they make their money off of tourism, Mardi Gras, Essence festivals, games, casino, like their money is mostly accumulated by tourism. Conventions like Microsoft conventions, they used to have those there all the time, so that brought a lot of money to the city. And New Orleans has that mentality, that hustle, that grind, that get it out the mud, Kevin Gates like type feeling about it, and atmosphere about the city. And it's all about that hustle, and everybody's trying to get that dollar, you know, and stuff like that. So with me saying that, I walk in, I look to the right, and I see, I'm going to say his real name again. I see Greg. And Greg's standing there by ATM, and his big old tail, he's swaying. Like, he's doing this. And I'm like, man, he is drunk. This dude, he looked like he's going to fall in, like a tree fall in the woods. That's what he was doing. He was doing one of these numbers. And so I noticed that there's a cocktail waitress right in front, like she was in between the ATM. So he's here, the ATM's here, and she's like right in the center. And she's looking up at him, and I see him, he has money in his hands, because he had just used the ATM, and I see him sticking his card in there. Sticking his card in his wallet and putting his money in there. And I noticed that the cocktail waitress, yeah, shot girl or whatever, she has her hand behind her back, and she's reaching down the ATM, and she pulls some, I see the 20s that she pulls out of the ATM, and she puts it underneath her tray. And when I saw that, I darted over there, and I was like, hey, you want to give my homeboy his money? She was like, oh, yeah, I was going to give it to him. I was like, okay, yeah. And so she gave him his money. And I was like, Greg, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm good. I just need some water or something. They got food here. I was like, let me get you some water first, and then we can always head out and get some food afterwards. He's like, okay. So we go back over to, we was like standing in the corner of the bar. Yeah, it was like, so we were right in the corner of the bar. There's like a couple stools there. And so here comes that cocktail waitress, thieving old cocktail waitress. Here she comes. Can I get y'all some? Can I get y'all some? And I was like, we're good. We don't need your services. We don't need your service. Because first of all, we're standing at the bar. And if we need any drinks, all I had to do is like wave the bartender down. There was like 3 of them back there to come down to the end of the bar. So what we need, we don't need you over there. She saw them as suckers. And I honestly believe that She saw them as drunk suckers. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all are going to visit New Orleans and you're going there just to have fun and tour stuff, don't get taken advantage of, because they're like vultures. A lot of them, I'm not saying all the bartenders and cocktail waitresses and stuff in the city are like that, but a lot of them are like vultures, and they prey on tourists that come there and get wasted. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten up in the morning and people just laid out in the streets like Bourbon Street, French Quarter, half naked, robbed and beat up, because there were tourists that came to the city who's gonna drink themselves into the ground and didn't even and thought that they were safe. Like, it don't know. People watch you. The locals, people who work there, if you getting drunk, they will sit there and watch you, and like it's almost like they're plotting on you. Okay, let me stop talking about my other home, because New Orleans is like my second home, but still, people that need to like open their eyes and pay attention and wake up. Okay, so now back to the story again. So I tell her, I was like, we don't need your services, blah, blah, we're good. So she walks off. So then we're like doing some more shots. And I ain't gonna lie to you, having a little bit buzz going by then. And I was pissed off anyways, because she was annoying us. And I knew what she was doing. And I have such a strong Southern accent that even living there for as many years as I lived there, people still thought I had just moved there because I couldn't shake this accent. So I'm sure she probably thought I was a tourist too and didn't know any better. But so a couple hours later, 2 hours later or something, she comes back. And I'm like, we don't need any drinks from you. Could you please leave? I said, you already tried to rob my homeboy. I saw you. Because I hadn't told her I knew. I mean, I'm sure she probably picked up that I kind of paid attention and knew. But still, I was like, I saw you trying to rob my homeboy. We don't need your services. I've already told you that. We're right here by a bar. If we need a drink, I can wave a bartender down and get a drink. Period. You need to leave. So she laughs in my face, and then she turns around and she walks off. So I was like, you know what, let me go talk to this bartender or whatever and see if we can get her away from us, bring us another cocktail waitress or something like that. So they're like, okay, cool. So I walk up to the bar and I'm talking to one of the bartenders, and I was like, and as soon as I said, there's this cocktail waitress that's already tried to rob my friend at the ATM. I've told her we don't need her services. I was like, the bartender was like, well, which one is she? And I'm looking around and I see her. She's back over there by Greg, and she's like talking to him and patting his back pockets. But he's so drunk that he don't know that she's like pretty much trying to find his wallet. And I said, that heifer right there, the one that's trying to pickpocket my homeboy, that's the one that tried to take his 20s out of the ATM. And when I told her I saw her, she gonna give it back to him when she tried to hide it underneath her tray. The bartender looked at me like I was crazy, gave 0 Fs, and was like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I said, well, do you have a boss here? Is the owner here? No, they're down to other clubs. I was like, will you please tell her to stay away from her? And the bartender just dismissed me and walked off. So I turn around, the girl is still over there, and she's like patting him down. Brandon's still kind of drunk, and he's doing shots. Greg is swaying like a redwood in a hurricane. And I'm like, I'll finally walk over and I get in between him and her, and I put my hand out and I push her back a little. I kind of like moved her back a little bit. I was like, we do not need your services. Please leave. And she thought that was funny. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the type of person. Back in them days when I was young, wild, and free and drinking tequila, yeah, I was the wrong one to laugh at. If I was pissed off and upset, and I'm giving you warning that morning, like, get away from us, we don't need your services. Or she gonna get, I mean, she literally, I really think she did step up to my face, because I don't understand how I would get that triggered that quick. But I believe that she stepped up to my face when she started laughing. And I remember I had to put my hand out and push her back a little bit. And then she's cracking up laughing again. I don't even know. I blacked out after that. All I know is people were screaming. Chairs was thrown. My homeboys was fighting security. Like the band stopped playing. Like the lights all popped on. And it was a brawl. It was like it was so quick though. I remember like security grabbed me by my waist, and they couldn't I don't even know. It was wild. So they put us out, like literally when I said we shut down Famous Doors, it had to be like maybe 9:45, close to 10 o'clock or something like that. We shut, and that Famous Doors on Bourbon Street. And if it's a weekend, it's always popping. We shut that place down like 9:45, 10 p.m. on like a Friday, I think it was Saturday, on like a Saturday night. And they shut the wood shutter doors. They came out and just shut the wood shutter doors. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I ended up getting like banned from there for like 2 weeks. And every time I'd walk by to go to work, security would always like give me a hug. They would laugh. I was like, "Girl, you wild." It's like, "For someone so small, you are strong." It was like, it took like 2 of us to get you. But they were just laughing and stuff like that. They were like, "You be all right. They just want to teach you lesson. You got 2 weeks and then you can come back." I was like, "Okay, cool." But anyway, so after that brawl happened, we ended up going down to, where do we go? I think we went to the casino, because Harrah's is like another place where a lot of people go. I think we went to yeah, we did. We went to the casino then, and we got some food. That's what it was. So we went to the casino and we got some food there. And then we were coming back, and we got some food and some shots. Let's go ahead and put that in. We were coming back. There was another like little local bar. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's like one of those bars. It's on Iberville though. So if you go to the corner of Bourbon and Iberville, and you make a left and go down, it's like on, I think you go down like 2 blocks, and it's like on a corner on the right. But it's a really cool little sports bar and like pub and stuff, and it has like poker game machines in the back or whatever. And like it stays open, I think 24 hours a day, because I know like whenever we would all get wasted or whatever, that would be the only thing open pretty much in the French Quarter. And you would meet people from all over the world, and everybody was so cool, and the food was good and stuff like that. But we ended up going there where we did some more shots. And by then it's getting dark. So after we left that little sports bar or whatnot that has like the video poker games in the back, we're walking down the street, and I see like these 3 chicks. And I clocked them as soon as I saw them. They were prostitutes. And like I said, they watch you in the city. When they see you, if they think you're too effed up or you're too drunk, there's people watching you. They're waiting to rob you, take advantage of you. It's like you got them night lurkers. So I see these 3 prostitutes, and they're like kind of chit-chatting. I see them looking at us. I already knew what they were doing, and I knew the game. So Brandon was kind of dragging behind because he was wasted again. And Greg, he was like walking next to me, and I kept noticing when Brandon was like lagging back, those prostitutes was getting closer and closer. So I turned around, and Brandon had one of those big old tall wallets. I call them like cowboy wallets, like really tall wallets, the ones you see with the conchos on. And he had it in his back pocket, so that's already a bad sign. And you can see his whole wallet sticking up. So I'm trying to make sure he's okay. I'm like, "Come on, Brandon, come on, Brandon." And I was like, "We got to get him some more food, and then we need to get him back to the hotel," because it was getting late then. And another thing I tell people is like, when you start to see the lights go down in New Orleans, it's time to get somewhere safe. Like, you don't have no business out in those streets if things are closing up. And if you don't hear music no more, if things are closing up, it's time for you to get somewhere safe. So we're walking down the road still, and like I said, those 3 prostitutes was like, I mean, they was closing in, they were closing in. And I was like, "Come on, Greg, we're gonna go to this pizza place, daiquiri shop, and I'm gonna introduce you to my friend, blah blah." So we get in a daiquiri shop, and I'm like, "Okay." So I'll go up to the bar. Me and Greg, we go sit up at the stool of the bar, and then Brandon comes and sits next to us, and we ordered a slice of pizza or whatever. And I'm talking to my homeboy behind the counter, and I'm telling him what's going on. He was like, "Yeah." So we're having this big conversation, and my homeboy that works at a daiquiri shop, he's like, "Yeah," he's like, if prostitutes run in 2s and 3s, and this is a fact. And there's a reason why they run in 2s and 3s, because especially like in the Quarter, they know tourists come and they come to party, and a lot of them lose track of how much liquor they've drank, and they get too incoherent and stuff like that, and it's easy to take advantage of. So what one would do was stand in their face and flirt with them, with their hand all over their chest, while the other one's like rubbing on their lower half or whatnot, and then the third one's pickpocketing them. And they don't even know what's going on because they got all these hands all over, and you got one girl in your face flirting with you. So a lot of times they'll pickpocket you like that. So we were having that conversation, And then Brandon gets up because he's so drunk, he can't even understand what's going on, what we're talking about. So he gets up, and I think, okay, he's going to the bathroom or whatever. I turn around, and them prostitutes had came in there, and they're sitting at a table eyeing him and winking at him and trying to get him over there and stuff. And I turn around, he's sitting at the table with them. And I'm like, oh my God. So I look at Greg, I was like, we got to get him back to the hotel. I was like, I said, you see how tall his wallet is? And even my homeboy at the Decker shop that's across the counter, he's like, yeah, he got a tall wallet. That's easy to snatch. So I'm talking to Greg, and I'm like, we got to get him out of here. I was like, they're going to rob him. He's like, well, we need to grab his wallet because that's the only way he's going to leave. And that way the girls can't get it. And I was like, okay. I said, well, and their hotel wasn't that far away. So I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go there and try to see if I can get him to come back and finish eating his pizza. If he doesn't, I'm snatching his wallet. And I say, you need to bolt out with me. He's like, okay. That way, I said, that way he'll follow us. So I get up and I walk over to the table, and they were smiling at me saying hi, but they had hell in their eyes. They already knew. I already clocked them. I already knew the game. Like, you was not about to rob my homeboys in front of me. Like, I was having zero of it. So I'm like, come on, Brandon, come finish your pizza. You know, you need to eat this pizza. You get something to eat before you go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm fine. They're like, and then finally, this one heifer, she gonna be like, he's fine. I said, okay. And that's why I snatched his wallet and went speed walking out of the daiquiri shop. And here come Greg. And when I tell you that these prostitutes jumped up so fast by knocking chairs over, chasing me because I had his wallet, as if I didn't know what they were about to do. And so we're out in the streets, and they're like, why are you taking his money? Why are you talking? I said, these are my friends. I'm not going to let you rob. I said, I know what you are. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not going to have my friends here visiting and y'all trying to rob them. I said, I already done peeped your game. I know what you are. They were like, whatever, blah, blah. And then they were acting like they were going to fight me. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm going to have to fight 3 prostitutes because my homeboys is drunk. I don't even know if they can hold any down for As soon as like I see out of the corner of my eyes like these red and blue lights flashing, and it was like the police. They were like on golf carts or something, and they were coming around. So all I could do was I was jumping up down, flagging them down, and I ran up to one of them, and they stopped. And I was like, these prostitutes trying to rob my friends, blah blah. I was like, they're really drunk. I'm trying to get them back to their hotel. They came to visit. They rode Harleys cross country. They had never been to New Orleans, blah blah. And they were like, and they were kind of, of course they had to make sure I wasn't telling them a lie. They were like, well, those are your friends? I was like, yeah. They're like, well, what's their names? And I told them their names. I was like, I've been taking them around the city all day since they got here. And they were like, you stay here, give me the wallet. So I gave them the wallet. And they walk over to Greg, and they start talking to Greg, and Greg's like, yeah, Shavonne, we asked her to take us around the city and kind of like look out for us because we've never been here before. And then he was like, yeah, these prostitutes have been following. So he told him exactly what I told him was going on. And the 3 prostitutes ended up getting arrested. And then they told me, they were like, yeah, you need to get them guys back to their hotel. Y'all need to stay in because, you know, everything's shutting down. So swerve that one too. He got his wallet. I got them back to the hotel, and instead of me going back to the parking garage to get my car, I stayed and slept in a second bed over the side, and they shared a bed together. But yeah, that was the night that I became a 5'4" security / bodyguard and became a professional tourist. So yeah, I hope y'all guys enjoyed this story, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any of my crazy stories or my eyeshadow tutorials. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and hop over to Instagram and follow me at Shavonne.Richie, and I will see y'all guys next time. Bye.